We've got some
Hey,
fresh new
I'm
young
Luis.
talent
And
doing some
I'm
things that I know
Luis.
you haven't
And you're
heard
listening to the
before.
Content is Profit podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to Content is Profit. Today I have a special episode for you from here, the OG studio, actually I think studio number 2, aka my house, my office. But I wanted to hop in here and record something really cool. It's gonna be a first for me, I think. But this morning we got a package from our dear friends from FlowChat, Chris and Sean, an award that we won. And I think this is like a super proud moment. Can I show you? So for those listening, please go to YouTube and go see this. And hopefully today will be useful because I'm going to walk through the path of how we got that award. But before you go there, go to bizros.co/monetize so you can download all your free resources and the frameworks that allowed us to get to our 6 figures, which is the award that we got. So this award, we got it this year, but I think we hit in the unboxing video. I think I said 2020, but I think it might have been 2021 with our podcast, which is the flow that we had in this software. So here it is. Oh, here we go. Bizros 6-figure club. Let's go. So long story short, we ended up signing. There we are in the floor, safe. Long story short, I mean, this award is for making 6 figures out of a software that we used to do outreach for our podcast. We still use, and it's related to a podcast. So it was the first 6 figures that we hit with our show, and we feel super proud and we're excited, and we celebrated earlier, and that's why I'm recording this episode at 10 p.m. at night, 2 days before the release. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I have an idea. Let's walk through the path of us. The system that we use to monetize our content. So if you haven't listened yet, go back to the last episode. It's a live call that we do with an amazing listener, and we walk through different ways to monetize her show. But this framework specifically is not just for podcasts. It will help you monetize any type of content as long as you collaborate, which is really exciting. And we found this method by accident. And then later on, we were busy executing, right? Selling our services, doing our podcast, doing what we love. And then later we found out that there's a lot of people kind of selling this method. But what I'll do is I'll just show you step by step really today. We don't offer this as a masterclass. We don't offer this as a service. We don't offer this as a course. Maybe in the future, I don't know. But this is something as a resource that we provide to our studio members and the people that come to record in our studio, and for the content momentum services. So what I'll do is I'll basically be sharing screen right here, kind of with an iPad, and I'll be mapping kind of the step by step on how we got to those first 6 figures. And by the way, it was in less than a year, which is really exciting. So if you want to know the real number, what we at right now, it's a little bit higher. So send me a DM and I can definitely share. It's definitely possible. If me and Fonzie could do this, you can too. So really exciting. But anyways, we find this method. You know the story of 45 Live. You know the story of the publishing pyramid and the minimal viable content. If not, go. I think it's a couple episodes ago. Go listen to those. We kind of break down those methods. And in 2020, we decided to launch the show. We lost every single customer that we had at the time. The one that remained was the one that signed up with 45 Live. And we decided to launch the show, Content is Profit. And we're like, okay, this is our last resource, platform. This is, we've tried every single type of content at the time that we were in syncing with it. We were able to produce it. And we're like, everybody's telling us to launch a podcast. Why not? So we did. And in 2020, first episode comes out. First 20 episodes, just me and Fonzie kind of documenting the journey, seeing how we do. And all of a sudden, we run out of content, of things to say. Remember the 6 stages? Also, another episode. Go check it out. I'm going to put all the links right below. And, you just search 6 stages on contentisprofit.com and you'll be able to find it. But we run out of things to say. And we're like, man, what do we do? So we decided to invite a couple of trusted people at the time. Pablo, shout out. He was one of our first customers in a content momentum service. And he came on and we shared an amazing experience in the show. It was our old office. Go check out the episode. Super awesome. I do say a lot of at the time. Probably still do. I don't know. And after that, we're like, okay, let's bring our coach of the mastermind that we were at the time. And then we ended up bringing somebody else. And within those first 3 people, which by the way, we did in 1 week, we decided to do 3 episodes every single week. One of those asked us at the end, be like, guys, like, this is awesome. I had a great time with you. You guys are very like original in what you do. What else do you do? Like, apart from your podcast, like, what's your business? And we had an incredible conversation, and it almost was like an effortless pitch of the services that we offer at the time. And he was like, well, I have a couple of referrals for you, if you don't mind. Like, I'm happy to make that introduction. And we're like, what? Light bulb moment, right? And we're like, we sat down after that interview, and we're like, maybe this is the way that we start approaching the podcast, you know, on one side. So if you see this, right, like imagine like a Venn circle. So this will be content, right? Then this will be like the guest, and then this will be opportunity, right? And we're like, okay, I think our podcast, right, which, you know, what we call is like, it's a platform, really. And this could be like a pod, that could be like IG collab, right? That could be a TikTok collab, that could be a blog, it could be many things. And we're like, okay, if we speak about content that we like and is useful for the people that are listening, right, solving a problem with a guest, right, not an interview but a conversation. This is very key. Where we can both talk at the same level and both share our authority level. And then there's an opportunity where, you know, we can share, I don't know why this is not running. There we go. An opportunity where we can share everything in the middle. I think that platform kind of makes a lot of sense. So we decided to go ahead and continue to have the conversations about content and how can people turn their content into profit based on their stories and having these interviews. And at the end of each interview, we started asking a couple of questions. We started asking, hey, is there something else that we can do for you? Like, this was an incredible experience. Thank you so much for coming to our platform. Is there anything else that we can do? And they'll tell us, you know, hey, yeah, you know, so-and-so, can I have an introduction? Or no, don't worry about it. And then we're like, hey, I don't know if this is for you, but we do this. And then on this, insert your service, right? So we just like, we do content multi-purposing. We provide fractional content teams. If you don't mind, we would love to show you a little demo, maybe not today, but maybe in the future, and see if there's ways that we can collaborate. And you'll be surprised. Out of the first 100 episodes, 80% of our guests said yes to that. And that's how we started having the conversations on a frequent manner to where we were able to close a couple of deals. And then we were able to scale those couple deals. And then we were able to ask for more referrals and so on, and build a team. And, you know, long story short, here we are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down kind of like the tactic, right? The process of, yeah, Luis, I've heard 1,000 times. Yeah, you need to invite him to the podcast and you need to do this. And there's very sketchy people out there that do it not the right way, which, by the way, this system is what landed us the deal with HOSPA and the HOSPA Podcast Network. Full transparency, right? That's a funny story that I might tell in a different episode. But it's literally very simple. Like, it's like, imagine you're inviting somebody to a Zoom call to have a conversation about what you like, and then your content doesn't necessarily have to be about the thing that you do as a business. And I'll share a couple examples at the end. So, you know, for us, relationships is everything. So we're like, okay, how can we scale this? And we decided to do the podcast 3 times a week because it was also our sales process, our referral process, and so on. So the questions that we'll ask at the end were, how can we help you? How, I don't know if this is for you, but we do X. I would love to collaborate with you. And then at the end, it's like, hey, do you know maybe 3 people that could be a good fit for the show? And we will describe our ideal client at the time. So let's go here to the iPad. So the first thing that we need, right, is a little platform, which in our case, it was podcast. And sorry for those that are watching YouTube, my handwriting might not be the best, but here we go. Podcast. And that's the event that we're going to be inviting the people, right? Imagine that's the event. And it could be also an Instagram Live. If you don't have a podcast, it could be a Zoom call, or if you have a community, it could be like, hey, let's collaborate and teach our community, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a podcast. But for the purpose of the example, we're going to talk podcasting, right? Now, the next, right after the podcast, and this is like right after you stop recording, that's where you ask the 3 questions, right? The 3 questions where ideally you're going to get 3 referrals and an opportunity call, right? And then obviously the number 1 is how can we help you, right? So we're going to help them achieve something. And those 3 questions like never fail. That's what we do, you know, in every single episode, except if we're doing a solo episode, right? And then after that, right, is you're going to have an event, which is the collaboration call, which is, hey, I would love to collaborate with you. And that's really the opportunity call where it could be, you know, client, it could give you more referrals, or it could be another type of opportunity. We've leveraged this system to, you know, speak on stages. We've spoken some of the biggest stages in the internet marketing world, CEX, almost Fun Hacking Live, but other events around Fun Hacking Live, and local universities, local, you know, podcasters, communities, Podmatch, anyways, a bunch. We've actually emceed another event in Montana, all because of this, and every single one of those events have become a lead generator for us, right? So before the podcast, how do we qualify the people? Like, okay, well, there's a couple ways. Is one, we bring somebody that we know it might be like a really good opportunity, right, for us. It could be like, okay, if we're looking for speaking engagements, who's organizing the event, right? If we're looking for a customer, who's somebody that fits the profile that, you know, that we do. And that's the person that we're going to go invite the podcast. Also, remember, there's a layer, which is the content, right? They also have to be talking about what we talk on the show. Keep in mind, we frame the Content is Profit show as the Content is Profit. So entrepreneurs, content creators, and so on. But you could have a podcast about X topic and invite your potential, you know, opportunity person to talk about that X topic. I'll give you an example. Our older brother started a podcast about his life goals, and he ended up talking a little bit about everything. But he would invite a certain type of person for that podcast, and then an incredible opportunity came up. I think he saw his first like $5,000 of coaching in there, and then he ended up meeting his partner, where they started a micro co-working space, which became his business eventually, right? So very, very powerful thing. So how do we qualify them? If it's somebody that, you know, we ask for a referral, we ask for somebody to connect us. But eventually we ended up putting in place an 11-minute call, right? And this is super cool because not a lot of people do an 11-minute call. They're like, what? Just 11 minutes? Of course I'll jump on, right? A lot of people do like a 20-minute connection call or something like that. But we decided to do an 11-minute. So that 11-minute is like, if I'm interested in somebody, be like, hey, Luis, you know, I've seen your content online. This is super exciting. I would love to collaborate with you. Here's our podcast. Here is our website. And we leverage the most. You know, we've brought these incredible people in it. So insert big names that you brought or people relevant in your industry. I would love to chat with you. Here's a link for the 11-minute, and you'll be surprised how many people jump in that 11-minute. Even with the people that we get introduced, we ask them to jump on an 11-minute. So just make sure that we're on the same page, and that will also help us see if that person is actually qualified for the opportunity side. So we're like, okay, once we jump on the 11-minute call, we decide, okay, this person is right for the podcast because of content. It's going to be useful now that the podcast is a little bit bigger than before. But initially, it was strictly, we need to create cash flow in our business. So we're going to bring somebody that we think that it's, and then the conversation, we're going to frame it for the content. So those initial episodes, obviously, we're learning to publish. We're learning to be consistent. We're learning the flow. We're learning to have conversations, and we share a lot of their stories, and we build this, incredible rapport with our guests or our partners at the time. And then, but the big focus was we need cash flow because we need to eat, we need to build the business, and so on. And we had, by the way, I'm very, very proud of this. We've had zero negative experience because of the way that we do it. Number one, I'm going to repeat it. Number one is your relationship with your guests. That's above everything else. Like, we lead with relationship and we lead with service and we help them out. And obviously, you know, part of being in our show is us helping them out. But at the same time, the number one question is, how can we help you? How can we support you? And then that gives us the right to do the other asks, right? And we've had nothing but good feedback. Even if it's a no at the time, they already know what we do and we check in. And anyways, it's a very professional and exciting relationship because we do believe that what we do is the best. So it is a disservice not to offer it. So that's the belief, that that's the frame, right? If you believe that what you do and what you execute is the best of the best, it is a disservice not to share it with them. So anyways, we go, so 11-minute call right before, and then obviously, you know, this comes, like, referrals come from here, or social media, all the posts, and people like interact with us and they jump on that 11-minute call, and then we do that. To this day, we do that. But we're also a referral specific show. So if somebody wants to come and they do a cold outreach for those that have been sending us an email, this is why sometimes we say, hey, go to Podmatch, sign up, and we get in there. But also, if you know somebody that came to the show, just help them out. Just ask them, can you ask them to be on Content is Profit? And that's how we do, basically. So we just protect our home, make sure that, you know, we have somebody in. But apart from this, like, nothing in this system matters, right? If we don't have these three things, right? We need a product that we can sell, right? So a lot of people is like, how do we monetize fast? Well, we need a product. A lot of people are like, well, I want to do a sponsorship. I want to do a growth partner. Absolutely. Go listen to the episode with Justin Moore, which is incredible. We've had no sponsors except HubSpot, and we landed it with this system, so it does work. We need a platform, which, I can't spell it. Platform, which in our case is a podcast. But you can do this again with any collaborative software or social media, right? And the other thing is a way, or let's call it as it is, a CRM, right? How to track your leads. So the perfect combination that we used, which is why we got the award, is we had on the CRM something called Flow Chat, which we'll link right below, which is why we got the award. So this tool is incredible, is amazing. I highly recommend you check the demo. I think this is the first time that we actually talk about it or promote it, except, you know, apart from the people that come to our studio. But basically, you can start connecting systematically with the people on social media, people that comment on your posts, people on LinkedIn. You can grab their information and start reaching out ethically, right? And the incredible part is that it comes with an incredible community that supports every single step. So for us, we lean heavy on Flowchat. We started doing spreadsheets, we started doing things, and we lost track of it. So Flowchat is our specific tool that we do for that. And now today, obviously, go high level. So we track everything else and we communicate inside of that platform. As far as the podcast, obviously we have Content is Profit. So we bring probably 2 to 3 guests a week still. And we get anywhere between 5 to 6 leads every single week just by asking the people at the very end. We also did a stage where we did content bites, where we tried it out. We're like, we need to speed up this process. So we had Content Profit 3 times a week, and then we did an Instagram live with the same format, just a little bit shorter on Instagram. So that was pretty exciting. We got some traction, but eventually we burned out, and because it was very, very frequent. So we're like, okay, let's just focus on Content is Profit. We grabbed some traction for the service. As a service, we did a recurring high ticket service. So we started probably around 1,500, and then it has evolved quite a bit from there. We have different packages now, and obviously with the studio now it's a little bit different, but it was a recurring high ticket. So especially a service. Why a service? For us specifically is because we needed the cash in hand. So, you know, people pay us ahead of time and then we do the work. So that's the reason we do the service, and we kind of stuck with it. Just, you know, probably next year we're going to start doing something different, but that's how we were able to scale that. So everybody's like, okay, we did this to start closing down the episode. We did this with a check out my notes. Yeah, perfect. We did this chat and we kind of broke down the system in a mastermind once, and there were a couple people that they didn't have a possibility maybe to do a high ticket offer, or they weren't interested in consulting and they weren't interested in something, you know, of that nature. And they were like, Luis, you know, I sell a low ticket item, I sell a book, like how's this gonna help me? Well, great question, because you listening might not have a big high ticket business, might not have a consulting gig, might not have that thing yet, and I understand that might take some work, which by the way, you could sell it first and then go execute, right? And then figure out if you're into that. But if you do have a low ticket item, this also works for that. So what a lot of people do is they try to invite in their collaboration somebody that could buy one item of their product. This is what we've seen over and over and over and over. My recommendation is if you haven't read the book Ultimate Sales Machine, go read it. There's a section, Dream 100. We love Amanda. We worked with her for a long time. Chet Holmes, her dad, wrote the first edition of the book. Go ahead and read that. And the section of Dream 100, that's exactly what you want. What are the 100, or let's rephrase it a little bit better, target 12. This is how Amanda explains it. What are the top 12 relationships today that if you create an opportunity with them, it will change your business, right? And this could be a big sale. It could be a relationship for a long time, recurring offers, so on, so on. So for this specific example, this person had a $7 children's book. And she had a podcast, and she would, interview parents, and she would share these stories. And it was an interesting concept, but she wasn't getting any traction, right? So imagine how many podcasts you have to produce, how much effort, right? We talked about publishing pyramid. We talked about the 6 levers, like how much effort you have to put in to sell a $7 book. So what we decided to reframe it with was, okay, who is somebody that could put in a big PO, a big purchase order for your books? And she started naming directors of libraries. She started naming directors of schools. What are the institutions that need her book in there? And she made a list, and she started, reaching out to them, because one relationship with them meant maybe 100 books, maybe 1,000 books, maybe 2,000 books. Now we played the game a little bit different, right? Which is very exciting. Another example, Tony, he had a software that he was selling, right? It was almost like a membership software. It was for accessibility. Very, very cool product that also gave the website owner tax deductions. He gave like the agencies that he worked tax deduction. He gave him tax deductions. Everybody tax deductions. Everybody was winning in this. And he was trying to sell it to individual funnel builders, because that's the community that he was in. When we reframed it and we created a new frame for that, he decided to go after agencies that worked with 100 or more websites that hosted them, because that was their ideal clients. So the first conversation that he had on his podcast was with an agency owner that had over 500 websites, and he was able to move the deal forward. And that was a very big deal for him. So this platform works. Again, I would highly recommend it. Obviously, if you have a podcast that you collaborate with people, go ahead and start trying it out. If you have any specific questions, please let me know. This is not a course. This is literally step one. Invite them to a connection call. Invite them just to figure out the content and if they're a right fit for you, as in number one for the podcast or your platform. Number two, as in an ideal relationship that you want to develop, right? And then the second stage is put him on the podcast or put him on your platform. And number three is invite him to an opportunity call. It's like, hey, I want to collaborate with you. Can we chat maybe next week or in a couple of days where we can figure out, I want to show you a little bit of what I do. And if that's okay with you, we can move forward. And then you'll have your opportunity call. And then at that point, it's up to you on how you move that forward. But, no sales guy, but I promise if we could figure out this system and, build our business around it, I promise you that you can do too. This has opened so many doors for us, not only in the revenue side, but also, like I said, in different opportunities that have helped us move and grow. And I can't wait. So I hope this was super helpful. I know it was maybe a little bit tactical. If you see it on YouTube, love feedback. Put the comments right below. Was this useful? Was it not? Do you want to see it a little bit different? But here, I'm going to put the screen again. 11-minute call to the podcast, to the 3 questions, to the collaboration opportunity. We're going to highlight that green because is money. There we go. And the opportunities could be, you know, is there a client? Are they giving me referrals? Are there any, you know, collaborations that we can do? All you need is some leads, your podcast, and a product. Highly recommend a high ticket product or service, recurrent service. And then obviously the leads, how do you control it? Inflow chat, which I'll leave the link below so you can check the demo. Full disclosure, we are affiliates. We love it. And the community behind it and the owners of the software are incredible. They're personal friends with, you know, Sean Malone and Chris Baden. Go check out their episodes. They're incredible. And anyways, yep. So a little bit different episode today. I hope it was useful, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.